Welcome to the Bank First Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
And we welcome you back into the Super Talk North Mississippi studios, 93.7 on the radio dial. You may be streaming, you might have it on Alexa, you might be doing a lot of different things to listen to the show. But however it is, we thank you for being here on a Thursday, August 6th. And it is time for the Bank First Ranger Hour. We thank Bank First for being our partner yesterday. If you were listening on our Building Our Future Economic Development show, we had Charlie Edwards on. He's in one of the branches in Oxford. There are over 50 locations in and around Mississippi and into Alabama, and a good many of those within this 93.7 listening area. And we thank Bank First. We thank Northwest. It's what we do on a Thursday, giving us an opportunity to talk about all things Northwest Community College. And, of course, the academic year is about to get underway and rolling for NWCC in all of its locations. You get the DeSoto campus. You have programs that go on in Olive Branch. You have the main campus in Senatobia. You have the concourse in Batesville. Drove by there just the other day. It looks a little different in things that they have done, and we talked to a lot of people that are in the concourse and different plans of study. Then you get the Oxford Center as well with the Coding Academy down in Water Valley. They are all over North Mississippi, NWCC. If you want information on the upcoming academic year, about programs, about admission, about financial aid, about whatever, we send you to northwestms.edu. northwestms.edu. Today on the program, we will meet another one of the Pathfinders at Northwest. Madison Hartsfield is scheduled to be on the show. We'll talk with Madison coming up at around 9:20. Do the usual conversation with a student. Find out a little bit more about what's been going on as a Pathfinder, what Madison will do in that regard. And get some thoughts from Madison Hartsfield on NWCC and why that was the choice. And when done, we're going to talk some golf. It's time to catch up with Coach Adam Payne again. The Northwest women's golf team finished up 9th last season at the NJCAA National Championships. Best finish in program history. We will relive that with Coach Adam Payne, see what additions have been made. Obviously, in the community college world, we talk about this with every coach. Rosters constantly, you're getting almost half of it. You need to replace every year. So we'll talk with Coach Adam Payne about the historic women's golf season and then into the men's team. Look at the upcoming schedules, and they're about ready to get their sports season underway. That women's team that I mentioned will begin on September the 8th in Montevallo, Alabama, while the men will actually host the Ranger Invitational at Tunica National Golf and Tennis, coming up starting Monday, August 31st. So they're a few weeks out, but we'll get into that with Coach Payne when we talk with him at around 9:35. So that's our show today. Start out with student Madison Hartsfield and finish with golf coach Adam Payne on today's program. And as we like to do when we have these Thursday programs, I remind you, maybe you're in and out of your car, in and out of a business, in and out of being able to listen to this show for whatever reason. Later on today, it will be in a podcast form anywhere that you listen to podcasts. All you need to do is look for the Bank First Ranger Hour. You find it, you'll be able to listen. Maybe some of you driving around know Madison Hartsfield, and maybe you can't listen you missed part of it, you can go back. You can grab it in the podcast form. Maybe you can listen to the first half of the show, and you can't listen to Coach Payne. It'll be there for you later on today, anywhere you find your podcast. The Bank First Ranger Hour, Thursday, August 6th. Northwest gearing up for the year, both academically and athletically. We've been giving you a lot of the coaches leading into the semester throughout the summer with some of the students and what they have been doing since they've been on campus and helping, whether it's been orientation leaders and Pathfinders or just Pathfinders or whatever it might be. And we will move next week where I believe we're going to have Coach Benji Parker of the nationally ranked Northwest football team. We'll get the first thoughts of the head coach, who will try once again to compete for not only the championship of the state of Mississippi, but for the nation. And so we'll continue to do that as things go along here in our Bank First Ranger Hour. Today, Madison Hartsfield, first up, and then golf coach Adam Payne after that. Here we go. Thursday, August 6th, in case you had forgotten.
This hour is everything Northwest. Your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College and powered by Bank First. Thanks for joining us on the Bank First Ranger Hour. Join the conversation now by texting 662-426-1093.
Always have that number available, right? If you're listening to me doing a program, whether it's 9 to 10, Tuesday through Friday, the Monday night show, whether it's sports, it doesn't matter. You can text message into this studio here in North Mississippi by doing that 662-426-1093, and we'll do what we can do for you. Second portion of the show, we'll catch up with golf coach Adam Payne, but now we're going to bring in first-time guest to the show, Madison Hartsfield. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent. Great to get a chance to talk with you and find out a little bit about, you're making your way to Northwest and then what the plans are, et cetera, et cetera. What we do is first get a little info. Tell us where you're from and then how you ended up at Northwest Community College.
So I'm actually I live in Strayhorn, which is like a super small town about 15, 20 minutes away from Northwest. But I originally grew up in Senatobia. So making the choice to go to Northwest wasn't even really a choice at all, just because I had so many family that graduated from Northwest, and just growing up here and growing up around the campus really made me want to go here.
You're talking to a guy that grew up in Luxahoma, played baseball in the league, so I've been throughout a lot of those little places that you talk about, like Strayhorn, throughout Tate County along the way. So it was close by. It was right there for you and an easy choice. We'll talk more about academics and things later on, but you are now a Pathfinder, right, at Northwest?
I am.
Can you expand on that? Because we've talked to a lot of different ones, and maybe we've given the definition or exactly what a Pathfinder does at NWCC. But let me get your definition. What does it mean to you to be a Pathfinder? What exactly goes along with that?
So Pathfinders are student recruiters, and it is very, very important to me because not only are we recruiting students, but we are right there around the same age as the people that we're recruiting. So it makes it where we can relate to them a whole lot more, in my opinion, and they are just more open, and it's just we have easier conversations and stuff like that. But as Pathfinders, one of our main things is to help with events on campus and give campus tours. We're actually helping with Ranger Roundup this upcoming, or I guess during Welcome Week. And we help with most events on campus, and one of our biggest events is We Are Northwest, and we usually do that with a bunch of the surrounding high schools, and they'll kind of take like a field trip day and come visit campus, get a tour, get information on financial aid, scholarships, just good things to know about the campus before they make their decision to come to Northwest. So they make it very, very fun. This is my second year doing it, and there was no decision on whether I wanted to do it again. I absolutely loved it the first year, and making those connections with prospective students and future rangers and stuff like that.
Most of the students and Pathfinders that I talk to, when I ask them, all right, some of the questions that you get asked, right, by students or prospective students, parents, or whatever, a lot of it comes around to, what is campus life like? What can I do besides go to class? When someone asks you that question, what do you tell them about campus life?
I tell them that we have so many different things. The biggest spot for me is right there around the McClendon Center and then the Rock. So obviously the Rock is a big hangout spot for students. Like if, the weather's nice, they'll go play basketball and sit around and make new friends and stuff. And then, in the McClendon Center, obviously one of our biggest student hotspots on campus is Chick-fil-A. Everybody loves it. And then we also have the arcade in there and the gym. And little picnic tables outside. And we just have so many events that the campus puts on for students and they try to switch it up and make it different. And I really think that everybody enjoys it, and it makes it feel like Northwest is a home. And so do the teachers and staff. Like, it really is, I did grow up around here, but it was a big change going from small town Strayhorn to a community college, and it really, truly has made me feel at home.
Madison Hartsfield's talking with us, and I guess, too, campus life is what you put into it, right? You get what you put in. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. I mean, you can either make the decision to come to the events and make new friends and meet people, or you can make the decision to sit in your dorm room. So it definitely is what you make it.
Well, there's a lot coming up. Welcome Week is happening, and, before we got on, I asked you about it, and you seem to have a grasp on what's going on. So what is Welcome Week?
Yeah, so Welcome Week is kind of like the kick-off to the school year here at Northwest. So the biggest event, in my opinion, is on Monday. And they're the first day of school, and it's Ranger Roundup. So that's just an opportunity for students to kind of, meet the different clubs that we have and interact with them. And actually, as Pathfinders, we'll be working the doors at Ranger Roundup. So everybody will get to see us. And then our drum line and our cheer and dance teams are actually doing a performance as well. And we'll get some different messages from some of the important people on campus, just giving the students information that they need for the first week of school and stuff like that. And then on Tuesday, we have the soccer tailgate. And it's soccer season, I believe it's already started. So it gives everybody a time to kind of meet the team and just support them and stuff like that. And then Wednesday we have the rock party, which will be super, super fun. I'm very, very excited for that. That'll just give students kind of a time and an event just for them to meet each other and stuff like that. And then Thursday is the ice cream social, and I am so excited for that. I heard so many people talking about that last year. That it was so much fun and just a great way to cool down from this Mississippi heat. So I'm very, very excited for that. And then the week after, we actually have to meet the Rangers in the volleyball tailgate. So those are going to be really good events as well. But just the whole week is just kind of getting students that are new on campus or even returners like me kind of give us a kickoff for the school year and make it fun and everything and not so overwhelming.
Excellent. My friends, you can go to northwestms.edu and try and find out any of the information that you might want along the way. So what's the major? What are we studying at Northwest?
So I'm actually studying elementary education. I have known since I was a little girl that I wanted to be a teacher. I mean, you could go back to probably my first day of kindergarten. I'd probably write that down somewhere. But of course, it's not the best paying job, even though it should be the highest paying job, in my opinion.
Agree.
But I am this will be my sophomore year studying elementary education at Northwest. And then after that, I plan to do my last 2 years at Ole Miss. I'm still deciding between the DeSoto campus and the Oxford campus. But I definitely plan to go to Ole Miss. And then after I finish there, I plan to go ahead and start teaching, but I do plan to get my master's online while I'm teaching and everything of course, be a little bit challenging, but I definitely think that I can do it just because I have such a passion for kids and what I'll be doing.
It sounds like you got the plans together. Was anyone else in your family, or are anyone currently in the teaching profession?
Not in my close family. I mean, I have some cousins and stuff that are teachers, but nobody, like my mom and dad, really, they love kids, but when I told them I was going to be a teacher, they were like, "Are you sure?" But
it does take a special person, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
We sent ours off for the first day yesterday, and the second grader is a handful. There's no doubt about that. So, well, we thank you for your conversation today. It's been good to catch up with you and listen to you. You sound like you're excited to get this school year underway.
I definitely am.
Well, hope you enjoy what comes up with Welcome Week, and then get the degree in hand, and eventually you do plan on teaching our young Mississippians, right? You're going to stick around? Okay.
Yes.
Good deal. Madison, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Madison Hartsfield with us. Pathfinder, local product, stayed home, enjoying Northwest Community College, second year to be a Pathfinder, and then doing the education role as well, getting early childhood education, then plans yet afterwards which campus she will go to of Ole Miss, yet to be determined, but then working on the Masters. Madison, as most of the students we get, seem to have the head on straight and moving in the right direction. Good stuff. Teaching us about being a Pathfinder and the upcoming week, which has a loaded week of events to get the semester started at NWCC. 9:30 as we take the break. And when we come back, we'll get into the world of golf. Head coach Adam Payne. We'll talk the historic women's golf season, an improvement in the men's side, and what to expect with tournaments getting ready at the end of the month. Here we go.
Thanks for listening to the Bank First Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on SuperTalk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour.
We need to thank the student Madison Hartsfield for joining us again on the program, talking with us about her time at NWCC, being a Pathfinder, the upcoming Welcome Week, and everything that we talked about with her. Now we will get into the world of golf with the coach of Northwest Community College, Adam Payne, back on with us. Hey, Coach.
Hey, how are you today?
Good. Let me ask you a question before we actually break down teams just a little bit. You're out recruiting, yes, an athlete to be really good golfers, right? But you're also recruiting them to be students and good people. When you are recruiting these young men and young women, and I ask this because they pick out some really good students for me to talk to on this program. I always leave impressed with where their head is and where they're going, and it was so different from me at that point in time. I really didn't have a clue what was going on, and be quite honest with that. When you're recruiting these individuals, what are you looking for there as far as not just a student but a person?
Well, the first thing we look at is how are they in the classroom. Oftentimes I'm going to call a coach or a principal or a guidance counselor at the school they attend just to kind of get some backdrop on how they are with their teammates. A lot of times I'm going to ask them, what things they like to do. In the world of social media, they can kind of tell on themselves a little bit. And so if you go into what they like or don't like, things they're posting, you can kind of get a feel for what type of individuals they are. But the main thing that, we look for first is people that are great in the classroom. We just found out last week that we had 19 golfers last year between our men's and women's team. We had 12 of them make first, second, or third team All-American academically. That is a huge accomplishment. Both teams had a great GPA. And then the second thing we want to make sure is that we have young men and women that are responsible. There's a lot of time that they're away from the golf course. They're in their dorms, they're in classrooms, they're in the cafeteria, and we want to make sure that they, one, have a great team chemistry, and then two, are responsible to make the right decisions on campus. And so when we go places, you know, they're a great representative of Northwest Community College.
Now to the field of play.
And then if you get past that, then we'll look at how good you are on the golf course.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Other than that, here's what we'll do. It was a historic season for women's golf at Northwest. I'll give you a chance to brag on them a little bit and kind of expand on the season that was a ninth place finish in the country.
Yeah, we had a great season last year. The girls had great chemistry, and they worked through some injuries, worked through some hard times, and you know, really just kept putting their best foot forward every day. And I think the biggest part of that was just the team chemistry was amazing. You didn't have to do much they pushed each other. They interacted with one another. So, yeah, in our second year to just finish in the top 10 nationally, we finished ninth. We had our first two ever All-Americans, and Anna Lee Little and Bella McNeil. And then every one of our girls that left here after their sophomore year had opportunities to go play somewhere else. So they've all moved on to play at another location, which makes me excited that, you know, other people notice their hard work and their improvement. And so, yeah, I just, you know, it's just tickled to death of how they worked last year, how they came together, and we're excited about this upcoming year.
How many of those players returned for you this year?
We have two returners, Sarah Grace Niblett and Anna Lee Little. Now, we won't have Anna Lee. Anna Lee played all spring injured, so we won't have her in the fall. She had all-season surgery to fix something that was wrong, and so she'll be back for us in the spring. She could be back for us in the fall, but I'm going to hold her out until the spring just to make sure she's completely healthy. And then we've brought in just an amazing recruiting class from girls all over the state of Mississippi, and then we've got one girl coming in from Mexico.
Well, if you want to throw out some individual names, who do you think you'll count on when you put a lineup out there?
Well, it's a talented group. I think Riley Summerlin from Northwest Rankin, she's going to be a great leader, extremely strong, can really move the golf ball. I think Elizabeth Kilpatrick from Laurel, Mississippi, she's also going to be a leader for us. Elsa from Mexico has had some really good scores this summer. But, you know, also think that Avery Baker and Gracia Enders, the two other freshman girls that came in from Hernando and North Point, they've got a bunch of talent also. I don't think you can look at this group and say it falls off very much. And then I think we'll be in contention to win a national championship this year if we stay healthy and everybody does what I think they can do. I think May will be very exciting in 2027. So I'm very excited to see where this goes.
All right, what about the men's side? Can you tell us, you know, as you move into year three, where do you think the program is?
The men's team improved a lot last year. You know, we had some sophomores that did a great job of getting the program started. They were great leaders in the classroom and off the classroom. We brought in a very talented freshman group last year, and we started a lot of those freshmen. They were getting their feet wet in college. We've got a very, very strong recruiting class coming in this year. So I'm excited about where we are. We finished 10th in the conference last year, but you had to be in the top 6 to move on to the district from conference, and we were 7th with just a few holes to play. Kind of knew what we had to do, so I told them to be aggressive. There wasn't any difference between 7th and 10th, and we got some bounces that didn't go our way, but you know, they were much improved last year. I think we're going to be really good this year. I think there's a chance we could definitely get out of conference in the district, and I wouldn't be surprised to be an outside chance to make nationals.
So I'm going to ask you kind of the same question. Do you have the returning portion of that roster that will fill up most of the things? Or are you going to count on some freshmen? And if so, give us a name or two.
Well, the returners that we have coming back, Arthive and Caesar, both from Germany. Arthive's actually playing in a tournament right now over in Germany. There's 130 players. He was sitting third after day 2 with 2 days to go. Caesar had an arm injury, so he's just now getting back to form. He can move the ball like nobody I've seen. And then Cole Erlander from Hernando, and I thought Davis has worked really hard in the off season, so I think Davis Wilkins is going to be good. So those are the 4 returners. And then we've got a bunch of really good freshmen: Drew from Northwest Rankin, Mac, Michael from Oxford, Cooper from North Point. So I'm really excited about. I think once again, I think the level of competition will get a lot closer when we qualify, and I think the better the closer that competition is, the better will be when it comes tournament time.
How many are on the roster? How many do you carry? Both men and women, if you don't mind. You said you had, I guess, a combined 19 a season ago?
Yeah, I'm able to carry 12 and 12. That is a full roster. 8 scholarship players, 4 walk-ons on each team. The men's team will have 11 players, and the women's team will have 8 this year. I think last year we had 7 women. This year we're going to 8. I think next year will be 10 to 12. So yeah, we've been slowly building the roster with people we want, and so we could fill both rosters right now. But I want to make sure that they're, 1, the character, 2, the academic person, and then 3, they have a chance to make this team and help it improve. And
obviously you want a roster that is competitive with one another. That way it makes you, a better team when you decide, who does get to go out there and perform.
Oh, it does. I think that was one of the things we've kind of lacked a little bit in the past of just from player 1 to player 12, the scoring average was too far apart, and so it didn't really push that top end. I think this year, that those numbers are going to be really close together. And so, paying attention to detail, just like it is in the classroom or just in relationships, making sure when we're at practice, we're paying attention to the little things, making sure we're doing routine properly, making sure we're practicing properly, doing what we need to do in the weight room, making sure we're eating properly and putting the proper stuff in our body. And so when you do those things, it helps our chances to play better on the golf course.
I guess obviously next week you kind of let them maybe acclimate themselves to being a student again, but for the men's side, you have a tournament that you're hosting in Tunica on the 31st. Yeah,
so junior colleges in Mississippi have changed more to be like Division I and Division II NCAA teams. So this year, the junior college events in the state of Mississippi will play 36 on Monday and then 18 on Tuesday. In the past, it's just been 18 and 18. So, we're going to play 36 holes on the 31st when it's extremely hot at a really good golf course, Tunica National, and then we'll play 18 on Tuesday. And what you'll kind of see, especially early in the year, if you haven't been training on your own, and if you've been riding in a golf cart too much, that 36 is going to wear on you. So we're really kind of see who's been doing their off-season workouts, who's really been walking versus riding in a golf cart, because it'll be a long 8 or 9 hours on the 31st.
No doubt. Well, I know you're anxious to get them back in and go, because you have to trust they've been putting the work in. It will show immediately, won't it?
It will, and we're very fortunate to have a bunch of men and women that have played in a bunch of summer tournaments on their own. They've had some really, really good results, and so we're excited to get going, because I really feel like these two teams are getting ready to take off. And the men and women we brought in have last year had an influence on the recruiting class we're bringing in this year. These individuals are already making an influence on who we're bringing in for the following year. And so, we're really on the verge of kind of turning both ships around and going in the right direction.
Well, we appreciate what you're doing there with the teams, and each and every year it obviously has improved. Right, the women were 15 in year 1 and 9 in year 2. Is that correct?
That is correct, and I would say it would be a very good chance we're in the top 3 this year after this year.
Okay, and then the men obviously have progressed as well, and we'll see what year 3 has in store. Coach Adam Payne, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much. You all have a great day and appreciate everything you do for Northwest.
Thank you, sir. Coach Adam Payne. Golf program's getting ready to get underway with their fall schedule, and the men hosting the Ranger Invitational on Monday and Tuesday, August 31st and September 1st. But as he mentioned, 36 holes on Monday and then 18 more on Tuesday at Tunica National Golf and Tennis. And then they will take trips to Montevallo, Alabama, Meridian, Gulfport, and Ellisville, with Meridian, Mississippi Gulf Coast, and Jones College hosting the last 3. Montevallo over in Montevallo, Alabama. So that's the schedule for the men's side. And then the women will actually get started in that same September 8th and 9th in Montevallo, and then host their event on September 14 and 15, that Monday and Tuesday. And their other trips will all be out of the state, whereas the men have 3 events within the state of Mississippi. The women's golf team will open up October in Harriman, Tennessee at the Roan State Invitational. Go to Boaz, Alabama for Snead State's fall invite, and then to Tuscaloosa for Shelton State in November. So we'll keep up with the men and women's golf teams and what they do. Again, top 10 finish for the women's side of golf, but he expects that to continue to rise. And I like his honesty in that regard. And look, we could tell early conversations with Coach Payne, yeah, he was starting a program and you wanted to get it up and running, but there were obvious expectations all over for the athletes on and off the field. And I think it's proven, and the men have gotten better each year as well. Be fun to follow that along as the season gets going, and we'll hear at the end of the month. The women's soccer team did have an exhibition yesterday. That was at Southeast Missouri State. I think Madison kind of hinted a little bit at that when we were talking about the Ranger Week and meeting some of the teams. I don't have a score on that one, but they were in Cape Girardeau at Southeast Missouri State as that exhibition season is underway for the women's soccer team. They'll be playing this weekend at UT Martin. For the men's soccer team, they're getting ready to ramp up things as well and get their schedule going. And, of course, all of these athletes are coming in to get the semester started as well. So you have plenty of things happening for the men's soccer team. Their first exhibition match is on August the 14th, which is a Friday, hosting Delta State in that one. So there are a lot of things happening. Football season will be coming up soon. The plan is to have Coach Parker on the program next week, and we'll talk about the Rangers. As mentioned, I found one national poll already had them in the top 5. We'll see if any of the others are out, and what we can find out from Coach Parker is he continues to lead the football program, and again, one that has done great things on the field, but has also had one of the better GPAs for football across the country as well. We oftentimes, well, we do every time, talk about that with the coaches along the way. First football game comes up 21 days from now, 3 weeks from now in Ellisville against Jones to open it all up. So we'll get with Coach Parker next week, and we'll continue our fun with the Bank First Ranger Hour next Thursday. So we thank Madison for joining us, talking with us as a student and the perspective there, and Coach Payne, for joining us in the world of golf. And we will keep our eye on all of that and all the other sports each and every Thursday that we do this program. But for this Thursday, August 6, 2026, the Bank First Ranger Hour is in the books. Thanks for listening to another show. North Mississippi Spotlight returns tomorrow. So long.